Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. And the single best idea this weekend across this nation is to be intelligent about the heat. I've learned a lot about it. I'm pretty ignorant about it. A shout out to the New York Times, which I think has parsed the difference between the word dangerous and the difference with excess heat or whatever. And the answer is, from what I can tell, you don't know you're doing heat exhaustion until it's too late, is sort of what I've learned in this new heat, and particularly not the number of degrees and index and all that stuff, but the number of days back to back seems to be new. We heard that from Rob Carolyn, our Bloomberg meteorologist, about the 3-day heat wave is becoming the 5-day heat wave. Be careful, because this heat exhaustion thing, whatever your age, whatever your background, it creeps up on you. One of the things that's crept up on us is drought worldwide. We went to the authority. We try to do that on Bloomberg Surveillance. Kona Haque is with ED&F Man. If you don't know that name, it is truly one of the romantic names of the history of finance. ED&F and Man goes back forever. Kings and queens, it's been around. And Kona Haque is truly the most intelligent person on softs we know. Softs are agricultural economies. In America, rice is no big deal. In Cambodia, rice really matters. Kona Haque on rice.
Yeah, so rice was very tight. The markets were very tight the last year and a bit. India had a rice export ban, and they're the world's largest exporter. Thailand had a drought, as you mentioned, causing severe decline in rice yields. So, and Asia, for Asians, rice is the staple. It's the potatoes of the UK. It's the grains of the USA. Without rice, you get food inflation, and that's what happened. And unfortunately, there just wasn't enough. The monsoons are absolutely critical to help the rice yields recover.
One of the great themes, Kona Haque there, ED&F Man, one of the great themes of the week has been the word solid. There's been all sorts of interviews and maybe this nuance, that nuance, and the rest of it. But the answer is people are summarizing to their interpretation of a solid economy. The financial economy, the stock market economy, is wrapped around a group of people that have participated in 6, 7, 8, 10 stocks, and those that haven't. And there's a partition here that we deal with every day with the mail that we see, YouTube live chat and all the context, people in restaurants, people in the street here in New York City. And there's this underlying belief I think that everybody has that at some point, like musical chairs, the music's going to stop. Matt Miskin is with Jon Ferro in Boston with all sorts of experience, a really brilliant conversation. And here, Matt Miskin on when the music will stop.
I believe in reversion to the mean. I do, and I think this concentration is historic. It is historic. I mean, that's the data. This is an outlier. You're never seeing 10 stocks represent only almost 40% of the S&P 500. So reversion to the mean suggests that that's going to move down, that they're not going to be that big. But it could be worse, right? It could be that these companies don't make money, that they're not great companies. These companies have great profit margins, great balance sheets, great return on equity. We're overweight tech. We've been overweight tech for the last 5 years. And that's the best earnings engine in the world.
People ask me all the time how I measure this. And of course, we do not give investment advice here. Of course, we're ensconced, with all the different trusts for the children and the triple leveraged all cash fund. But what I would say is there has to be a new respect away from financial media ratios to what the grown-ups like Matt Miskin look at. And that is free cash flow in this strange phrase, capital allocation. The Bloomberg has a wonderful screen, the WACC screen, the weighted average cost of capital screen that shows for each company, Apple, whatever, American Chinstrap, it shows EVA, weighted average cost of capital, return on invested capital, and the difference, the spreads, the differences between those. I use it like religion. It's hugely important in my first study of any company. So what do you do? Pro tip, and particularly for those of you that are students, capital allocation is a religion easily going back 20 years, if not 30. At the high altar is Michael Mauboussin, M-A-U-B-B, Michael Mauboussin, now at Morgan Stanley. Read Michael Mauboussin. I don't know what else to say, but that will give you a better idea of what Matt Miskin was talking about, which is the concentration is ridiculous, but the fact is they're still minting money. So look to Michael Mauboussin at Morgan Stanley for some real leadership there. There's some good books. Bill Priest's book on free cash flow, shareholder yield, is also another thing to look at. William Priest, Shareholder Yield, is a great, great short read on free cash flow. Our short read is staggered on Monday. It's good to know that Paul Sweeney will have dinner with John Tucker tonight after the C Street ferry over to New Jersey because the trains aren't working. It'll be a stressless weekend. Red Oak Keeper of the Amex, of course, will pick up all that vast expense. We're on YouTube. Search and subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts. On Apple CarPlay, on Android Play as well. And, of course, on Apple Podcasts, it's Single Best Idea.